Thank you. So I'm here tonight to talk about our phase two of our what's called a Smart Schools investment plan. Back in 2014, it was enacted that the school districts would receive Smart Schools Bond Act money, guaranteed money for projects and allocations to school districts throughout New York State. The overall allocation was $2 billion was obligated towards the Smart Schools Bond Act, and Brockton Central School received a portion of that 2 billion, obviously not 2 billion, but we are having a portion to do with that. Under phase one, we actually started back in about 2014. Immediately, we started to identify our aging door access system throughout the building. And at the time, there was issues around lockdowns throughout the nation of school shootings and things of this nature. So we felt it important that our classrooms be able to be also locked down instantaneously if there was a viable threat within the district. And so we started to plan and work with vendors on what a card access would look like and immediately lock down or shelter in place. It took a number of years before this was finally approved by the state and reviewed. The Smart Schools bond process for all school districts across New York State has been very frustrating. It takes a long time to be approved, so it's a process. It wasn't until we reached out to our Senator Kathy Young, seemed to really get the ball moving after about a year of our application sitting at the Smart Schools review. Senator Kathy Young helped us to get it in under review, and then it still took time after that because it had to go. Because it had taken so long. The quotes that we had received and some of the equipment had been outdated, and there was newer equipment available. So we kind of had to update all of our information with our vendors. But we finally completed that project, and that's been with us for just about a year now. And we've worked out any of the little bugs that have occurred throughout the system. But all of our classrooms have electronic door access that teachers have an ID card to access their rooms. And with that process, more importantly, when we talk about lockdowns and shelter in places, we can access or have access where certain locations of the building can hit an emergency button and lock this school building down completely, thus eliminating anybody, even the staff with the access cards. All but a few staff, emergency staff, would even have access to get into various rooms. To lock the building down for safety. This is vitally important. Tonight, there will be a message going out that just talks about TikTok and some threats that are taking place across the nation, and TikTok encouraging, and supposedly TikTok has pulled this down, but people continue to post these types of threats towards school districts or government buildings. And that raises awareness with parents, guardians, community members. Are our schools safe? We believe at Brockton, we're putting every safety protocol in place to keep our children safe, keep our staff safe, and we're going to continue to do so. And I think having this smart access with our school system electronic door locks is one way to do that, and we've done that. Our phase two is really going to look at our dated infrastructure of cameras that are on campus. Obviously, we have a large number of video cameras throughout hallways, large gathering areas such as auditorium, gymnasiums, our parking lots, athletic fields, and the technology, as it ages, obviously becomes less robust. It's difficult to truly identify in some instances, or on long projections. You see a person, but it's tough to tell, is that person male, female, what specific identifying marks they might have, so that we can identify who those people are. And as technology improves, obviously we can do much greater things with that technology. And camera systems, because it does go down to recording, we're able to search back and hopefully identify any areas of concern, infractions that may have taken place, fighting, stealing, parking lot issues where someone backed into somebody, uh, after hours, trespass, somebody trespassing on campus, graffiti. These types of things are vitally important that we use the camera system for. And so in our Smart Schools Phase 2, we're proposing and we're sharing out that we install uh, within the school system an enhanced camera system. And with this system, we currently have, we get the number of cameras here, we currently have 81 cameras around the building. We're looking to keep 58 of those existing and tie it into the new system so we could utilize some of our cameras. And then we're going to enhance by adding 30 new cameras with better enhancement. Our current camera system was well over 8 years old, and technology has changed quite a bit in 8 years. So we're going to be replacing them. We've looked at a variety of vendors, and we believe we've found the best viable option for the greatest enhancements for the best price. And working with our vendors, our technology director, Michael Schultz, have done an outstanding job working with these vendors, identifying locations, working with them and telling them, here's the issue with this spot. What can we do better? This is a blind spot in this location. How can we fix this? And Mike has worked with them to really enhance the system that we have and make it more robust. These cameras will include 180, 270, and 360 degree viewing radiuses. We'll be able to look at our athletic fields with more detail. This system will not be using facial recognition. If you watch a number of your investigative TV shows, you see facial recognition and being able to identify who that person is. This system will not be using facial recognition. New York State does not permit that through their privacy laws. However, we can search by color, size, and shapes. So typically the color of a red shirt, we'll be able to search the cameras, for people that are wearing a red shirt and help to identify exactly where they were on the building or premises. Our law enforcement and first responders will have access through the district's VPN network. They'll have access, though they will not be accessing, but only in that of emergency. If the building was to be placed in the lockdown, their access that then would be allowed for them to access our camera system and figure out where the threat is located, and any other information that they can access, through that video surveillance. In the projected cost of the 30 new cameras and upgrading our software, we'll get a 5-year software licensing agreement. Of those cameras, 13 new exterior cameras. So we'll be looking more at our parking lots and athletic fields. We'll have 16 new interior cameras located on the first floor and 1 new interior camera on our second floor. In our Smart Schools Bond Act allocation, we currently have $472,000 or $472,837 remaining in that budget for us to utilize for the Smart Schools Bond Act for future projects. Of that money, $17,820 will be used to upgrade our installation of servers, the cameras, software, labor, and materials. That's the labor for the installation. The hardware is $63,715. The software is $22,300, and any incidentals or administrative cost as they go through the project. An allocation is set aside for $10,000. So the total expenditure of phase 2 is $113,835 to upgrade our camera system with these new enhancements, add cameras, thus giving us a remaining balance that we could use for future projects of $359,002. So with that, we're looking to upgrade our security cameras throughout the building and on campus, utilizing the funds that have already been set aside. What's nice about these funds is it does not take voter approval. It does not impact our tax rates at all. This money's been set aside with the New York State. It's just the process in which we need to go through could take up to 6-8 months to a year. They're telling us, so we'll be working with our architect to be sure that it ties in with all of our current projects that we have going and also our server systems. So with that being said, is there any questions that I can answer about phase 2 of our Smart Schools project? Or Mr. Schultz, I see that you're on as kind of the leader of this project for us. Is there anything I missed, Mr. Schultz, that you think would be important to any of our viewers here tonight?
You pretty much have, this is Mr. Schultz. This is pretty much have covered just about everything. The only thing that I did want to include was the system that we did choose allowed us to add the old cameras on there, so we don't have to spend a ton of money in the initial and then have these cameras eventually go, out of date. This is more of like we can replace a new old camera with a new camera and pretty easily, so we can piece and part this together when a camera dies. So the software is really robust, and it also gives us a lot of flexibility to as a replacement. Plus, we also expect out enough space to also accommodate those cameras. So it says we have 30 days of space, but as we expect it out to be a lot more than 30 days of space. So we will have probably anywhere from 30 to 40 days, but once we get more cameras on there, then obviously, but our goal is to keep 30 days. Other than that, Jason, I think you pretty much summed it up.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Is there any other questions that I can answer from any one of our viewers here tonight about the enhancement of our security here at Brockton Central School?
No questions here. I think you covered everything.
Thank you. Okay, with that being said, this information is posted to our website, and our district and our Board of Education will be looking to move forward on submitting our project proposal to the State Education Department and the Smart Schools Review Board. And hopefully we can have cameras on board in less than a year, ideally, but it does take time, but we're going to look to move forward as quickly as possible. So I thank everyone and have a wonderful evening, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.